Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your Wrexham Daily News and Update show, The Breakfast Club. And today it is Tuesday. So guess what? We got the very, very special guest. It's Tomi Caws. Tomi Tuesday is back. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to go with that. Forget Cows. Tomi Tuesday. That's what it's going to be from now on, mate. Josh, fantastic to see you as ever, pal. And yeah, I've still got this smile on. The Reds are still top of the league.
Top of the league. Can't complain with that, my friend. And it's fantastic to see you. And as everyone knows, Tomi, Men in Blazers, saw the show this week at Wrexham. It was a banger. Tell us about it. Tell us about what's going on in Men in Blazers, too, before we get into the other fun stuff. Oh, I think you froze.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, to be honest, a lot of people seem to be quite confused about how frequently the shows are coming out. And as I've said, I think to you before, Josh, we're sort of we're doing less episodes this year, but we are all the big ones, all the big games. Some would argue every game. Obviously, we did Birmingham last week. We've got a special Gresford episode coming out on Thursday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, we'll be letting people know as and when the episodes will be coming out. Unfortunately, it's not every single week, but we are hoping to bring out more and more as the season goes on. But yeah, it's really exciting, mate. Obviously, being a Wrexham fan at the moment, it's just we're still pinching ourselves. I still think one day the world's gonna fall in and it's all gonna go to shit. But hopefully, sorry about my swearing there, but hopefully, yeah, that doesn't happen too soon because I'm absolutely enjoying the ride.
Well, it's the ride has been awesome. I mean, we're kicking every ball here too, but I say the FOMO for us sitting here watching you go to Birmingham City, watching This Week in Wrexham, whatever you guys are doing, it's working and we love it. So long may it continue, and we're looking forward to the special this weekend or this week on Thursday. And speaking of, about the league so far, we look pretty solid. Although we had a little bit of a wobble win on the weekend. What are your thoughts there? I mean, what are your thoughts on that match, the Crawley match?
Well, to be honest, and I'm going to name drop very, very slightly here now. I was lucky enough to have a chat with Phil Parkinson, Super Phil Parky, after the game, and you know what? He summed it up perfectly, as he always does. He said, "Listen, we weren't great. We didn't play well. Crawley were a good side, and they will be really aggrieved not to have took at least a point from that game. But the fact of the matter is, we won the match, and there's something special about that. Winning matches when you perhaps don't play that well, it's a very, very good knack to have, and we've got it. We've done it, maybe a couple of times. Although, to be fair, we have been very, very good so far this season. Yeah. But we're finding ways of winning matches, even when perhaps we're only having the ball for about 10 minutes for the whole game. And, we're backs against the wall, but we've got so much quality throughout the side. It's special to watch. And, it was another great win because I'll tell you something. They say the table never lies. Well, for me, it does. Crawley will be up in the top half. Make no mistake about that.
Yeah, they're well managed. They got carved apart. We're picking some players out last. That guy played really well. He studied the Birmingham game. I wanted to bring up the Birmingham game too. But by the way, Ruby Slippers wants to say, how do we write letters demanding more This Week in Wrexham episodes? Send them to Tomi.
Yeah, well, to be honest, just write a check for £10,000 to Tomi Caws, and then that'll be all right. That'll work. But Ruby, I'd like to thank Ruby for her support as well. Always a big supporter of the This Week in Wrexham, so thank you for that. But yeah, fingers crossed we can do more and more as the season goes on because that'll mean that Wrexham is successful.
Yeah. By the way, make that out to cash, and then I'll get 10%. Is that cool? Let's just work that out, by the way. In pounds, by the way. In pounds. Awesome. Kelly David says, good morning. And before we move forward, I want to go back one more because I know, speaking of This Week in Wrexham, you went to Birmingham City, and we did get our first L of the season. I'm taking out the cup stuff. What an occasion! Holy the video was awesome. What an occasion! If you want to, give us a little shout out what that game was like, because you guys looked like you were having fun, but their last words on it were like, okay, I get it, I understand, and that was really awesome to see.
Yeah, it was an amazing day actually. It feels like these big occasions just seem to be happening every other week. I mean, the Bolton game was fantastic. Birmingham was a different level. Birmingham it really felt like we were going to not just a big club, but a club that will be on the up. Well, it is on the up, and it feels like they will be Premier League in the very near future with everything going on there. So it was a special day. Birmingham, second biggest city in the UK. So you really feel like you're up against it by just going into Birmingham. And I mean, the train takes from in the US you'd call it the city limits, I suppose. When you go from the city limits to the centre, it takes about 20 minutes. So you're going into a big city. You see the murals on the walls. Birmingham is a big club. It's a sleeping giant, to borrow that cliche. But the whole day, mate, it was fantastic. And, I'd like to say to maybe some of the fans in the US who are watching that game and maybe looking at it and going, oh, that wasn't great from a Wrexham perspective. We need to calm down and have a look at it objectively and go, Birmingham are an excellent side. And just by sort of giving them a game and remaining competitive, I think was a result in itself for us. Because, as I've said to everyone on this weekend, Josh, if we finish 10 points behind Birmingham this year, we'll go up. Simple as that.
They were a good side. They're starting to click, and unfortunately, they clicked right when we played them. They won against this weekend. We did the That's a Wrap show last night. Got watching them. They're a good side. It is what it is. When you spend the money, it usually starts working. There's not a lot of times where it doesn't work. I did like your thing on Jude Bellingham, and then it was a really good episode. If you haven't watched it yet, please go back and watch that. Fantastic stuff there too. Morning all says Wayne Evans and hi Bree from SoCal, and God, Ruby Slippers she's gonna divide. Here we go. Before we move forward, what's the best trainer shoe of all time?
Well, I mean, as you can see, I'm wearing the 3 stripes now. I think anything Adidas or Adidas, if you prefer. But you pretty much can't go wrong with an Adidas trainer, as far as I'm concerned. And for those of you who've been over to Wrexham, if you were to count the Adidas trainers on the show on a Saturday afternoon, you'd be in the thousands or tens of thousands, maybe. So that speaks volume. So that's what I'd go for.
Thank you, Ruby. I got to go with the Jordan 4 or the Jordan 5 for me. That's it. So before I get to this one, because I want to go back to the Crawley thing, I know kind of jumping around a bit. We had a heated debate for the last 48 hours about the JM and the Mulls thing. And yesterday, Parkinson came out and said why he rested JM. What are your thoughts there? I thought there was going to be a brewing situation, but I think that Parkinson does have a plan. I know Parkinson has a plan. And then I mean, you talked to him. I talked to him, over the summer. I love what he's doing. What do you make of that? And do you think he'll play JM and Mulls together at some point?
Well, there was a lot of talk before the game that it would be Jack Marriott and Mullin up top on Saturday. Parky stuck with his tried and tested formula of big man, little man, and perhaps that was no surprise. But yeah, I can 100% see what Phil Parkinson was thinking. Mullin gives you more quality. Don't get me wrong. By the way, Jack Marriott's been fantastic for us this season, but Mullin will score more goals than Jack Marriott. There's no doubt about that. But it was harsh on Jack Marriott. It's really harsh. And in all fairness, you could look at it 2 ways. You could say, when Marriott came on, we looked more threatening. So you could either look at it 2 ways. You could either say we should have started with Jack Marriott, or you could say Parkinson got it absolutely spot on by playing Mullin. And then Marriott came off the bench against tired legs and did a great job. So I'd look at it that way. I'd look at it, Parkinson did get it spot on, although Mullin did not have a good game by his standards at all. I think he'd be the first to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he got it spot on. I think, that Marriott's one of those players that he's a very, very good second choice to Paul Mullin. And unfortunately, I haven't really seen anything to suggest that that's going to change. Yeah. Mullin wasn't 100% fit, I don't think. I was looking at him after 55, 60 minutes. He was, the term we use over here is blowing out of his ass. So yeah, he was struggling. Now you could see that it was time for him to come off.
Yeah.
Marriott came on. The Crawley defenders looked petrified of his pace.
Yeah.
And we won the game. Okay, it didn't come from Marriott necessarily, but we won the game. So Parky got his spots on. Going forward, I think Mullin keeps his place this weekend. I really, really do. Even though it's harsh. It's harsh on Marriott. There's no other way about it. But I think Mullin keeps his place.
Yeah, when he did that strike, he took about 35 yards out on the right. He stung the keeper up. That went in. That's a confident striker going in there, 4 and 6. Yeah, and Mulls, he's 5 weeks behind, with the surgery and everything. So yeah, But I think he'll manage that well, and he has to. He said yesterday he needs them both, so they're both great players there too. Tom says, "I'm so glad we're getting the second season this week in Wrexham. Tomi is an absolute treasure. He is, and in my opinion, personally too."
I'm sure Tom is just my mum posting under an alias there. To be honest, like I don't believe that he's really thinking that. But thank you anyway, Tom. Thank you anyway, mate.
I'm convinced I got my mom or my in there as well, and sometimes going, hey, how are something positive, which usually never happens here, but from the crowd. And then Jason Smith, personal question, Tomi. Will you be at the Northampton game on the 5th? I'm going to be there from Canada and was hoping to meet you. I think he's bringing his dad on a big occasion there. So that's Jason, one of our supporters there.
Well, I mean, usually, Jason, I'd replied by saying I don't know what I'm doing an hour from now, but yeah, Jason, I'll be there, my friend, and yeah, it'd be fantastic to meet you. That'd be amazing.
Okay, there you go. Tomi Tash, yeah, Tomi Tash is coming back.
It's
on. It's coming in. You got it. It's coming into it. November's coming. Got to have it. Bruce says, when Mullen holds his place Saturday, do you reckon Marriott will start on Tuesday? Well,
that's an interesting question, Parky. I think he's proven, when there's two fixtures so close together, he's more than happy to change a couple of players over. Mullen's probably not at the point yet, fitness-wise, where he can do 290 minutes. He certainly won't do 180 minutes over the course of 3 days. Yeah, so it's an interesting one. The great thing we've got now is that, I mean, look, if Jack Marriott is, like I said before, going to be like second fiddle, back up to Mullen. What a backup he is. He's got to be the best backup striker in the league. I mean, maybe Birmingham have got someone, but I mean, what a player. And I don't mean that as any sort of insult to Jack Marriott. And, I'm sure he'd listen and rightly so, be a little bit annoyed at being considered a backup. But Paul Mullen has just been so good for us, and we all know what he's capable of when he's fit. That there's no shame in being a backup. So I do think that's the situation. But yeah, next week will be really interesting. I actually think the wing-back spots will be an interesting one as well. I'm sure we'll get onto that. I think, the likes of Sebastian Revan, he's ready to start games now.
You could see that. And I thought, my opinion, I thought that Maka looked a little tired. I know he's got a foot injury going on there too. I wouldn't be surprised if, we do see Rev go in there. And another one too, and I'll put this out there, and looking forward to the Orient game on Saturday. Speaking of Rev and Scar, Scar's got to be itching to get on that pitch,
100%, mate. And you'll have a number of players. People who you sort of think of as the forgotten men. People like Will Boyle, for example. Yeah. I actually think, I'm a big Owen O'Connell fan, but I actually think Owen O'Connell's been a little bit shaky in recent weeks. I suspect, as much as I am a fan of his, I suspect there'll be a couple of players itching to get on that field. But I tell you something that Parky's done well, and he's done it well since he's been at the football club. Yep. I was lucky enough to work as a journalist, and I used to speak to players, and you just never ever sense that there's a great deal of unhappiness. Players want to play, absolutely 100%, but to me it just doesn't feel like there's unhappiness in the camp. And Parky is the master at keeping the squad happy. Of course, there'll be little niggles here and there where people are going, come on, why aren't I starting? This guy's had a couple of bad games. Why aren't I in there? But Parky does a great job of that. And I think that's an underrated aspect of his management, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't like the dinosaur crap that people call him, things like that. I don't like that at all. The guy's he's a proven track record here at the club. Maybe last year I was a little bit negative, and I was like, you know what? No way. That's you got to. The proof is in the pudding, And when I met him, I was like, yeah, I'll play for you right now. Put me in, coach. Wherever you want me to play, I'll do it. Which is so. I think that is one of his secret weapons that we have. Him and Parkin, and then knowing the league too. Welstecky says, "Looking forward to Orient on Saturday?" ? To you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be there. Always an expensive one down to London, but yeah, thankfully I'm off the beer at the moment, so I won't be paying £8 for a pint of lager. So yeah, looking forward to it a lot. I've got a lift from my mate from Denby, so raring to go. And I tell you what, London away trip, it's always a great away end in London as well, because people have been on the train all day getting tanked up on the beers. It's always a lively away end, so I'm looking forward to that atmosphere.
Yeah, and then Leighton Orient are down there, but they just beat Stockport, I believe. They're not a bad side, so it's something you need to look out for. Kind of a another banana skin game for sure. And then, hey, Tomi, love the show, says Adam Cruz. living legend here. We're looking at it. And then going on that game, though, Orion, what do we expect? What do we expect going into it? Do you expect change? Think he's going to go with R11? What do you think Parkinson's going to do there?
Yeah, I do think, I think Parkinson, I think he'll be looking at Revan and he'll be going, how do I get this guy in the side? Barnett has been absolutely on fire. Barnett's a guy who, because Revan, for me, I love him. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a superb player. But where do you bring him in? James McLean, I don't see him being dropped. Barnett has been outstanding. Barnett was one I had a question mark over in the summer. I was thinking, can he do it in League One? He was brilliant last year. Can he do it in League One? Well, he is doing it in League One. He's been outstanding. He's arguably, I would say, been my player of the season so far, Barney. Yeah. So we're not dropping Barney, I don't think. I don't think McLean will be dropped. I think maybe we stick with the same 11. In terms of expecting, I'm always a little bit, when we go away from home, I always sort of think, especially after the brilliant start we've had, if we get a draw, it's not a disaster. It's really not a disaster. You want to win every game, of course, but Leyton Orient away, especially after they've gone to Stockport and got that win you mentioned there, Josh, no one saw that coming, I don't think.
No.
So then they're no mugs. So if we go there and get a point, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, having the depth in the squad. And by the way, talking about the Barney stuff, he knows Rev's pushing him, and I think that's part of it too. He's done really well, and I think that's part of it. Why some of the guys in the starting 11 are doing so well. Although I agree with the O'Connell stuff. He's one of my favorite players too. I think he's struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's a mental thing because he knows Scar wants to get in there. Maybe he's trying a little too hard. By the way. There you go. Thank you, Ruby Slippers. Not 10,000, but Josh should take his 10%.
There you go. I'm taking my 10%. So what's that? Is that $1? You send me $1, Josh.
It's $1. I don't know what the exchange rate is today. We have to check. I had to check my exchange rate on the phone, but it's thank you, Ruby Slippers. That's awesome. And then Welsh Techie. I don't know if you guys are going to meet up to. Do you know Welsh Techie or no? He's one of the
I speak to Welsh Techie on Twitter quite regularly. Yeah, but the London Reds, a lot of my good friends are in the London Reds. I've actually watched games with them a few times in the past down in London. Fantastic bunch. Just want to say as well for the guys going on the train down to Euston, there's a fantastic bar that we always go to. The interestingly named Cock Tavern. That's what it's called, the Cock Tavern. Some great guys who drink there, and by London prices is very cheap. So I'll give the Cock Tavern a shout out, and I may head down there for a Diet Coke. Who knows?
I was gonna get him a soda water for sure. I don't know if there's something there, or maybe it's over. Maybe just too much fun. You got to do it. I get it. Big money, Ruby Slippers, and Aaron's in house says hi everyone, and Ruby Slippers just went right for it. There we go. I mean, Jesus. Two questions here. What about Mo Fall? Do you think we'll get a league game from Tom? And then I want to go in. Hey, Tommy, what do you think about Max for next 5 years? Or we think we'll keep Max for the next 5 years, or snatch someone will snatch him up before that? Because he's had a great season, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be our captain when we beat Real Madrid in the 2029 Champions League final. So there you go. You heard it here first. Get some money on that.
Yeah, clip that up right there, and I hope it happens. I absolutely hope it happens. So I got a couple of things here. The league as itself, it looks like, I don't want to jinx anything, right? And you always say about, don't Rex it up a little bit. We've adapted to this league. I think our players, like Dobson, for me, my personal opinion, is the best player on the pitch every single game. I don't know why. That's just me being selfish and Max. But I'm going to freaking jinx it here. I don't want to ask this question. How do we keep it up? How do we do this? How do we not Rex it up? How do we keep going without like, oh, geez, we got a dip in, you think it'd be something dip in form? What do you think?
Well, I one thing that does concern me slightly is we're starting at the beginning, and I'll be honest with you. I was one of those guys last year that thought, I'm a massive Parky fan. We said it a million times. We all love him. But I was concerned about League One. Can he really shape us? Can he set us up for League One to be successful? I had my doubts. He's proved me wrong, thankfully, and I'm over the moon. He has proved me wrong over the first, let's say, first sixth of the season, if you want to use fractions, sixth. Whoever uses terminology like that, first sixth of the season. But yeah, I think the issue is going forward. What happens is every single season you'll see some teams will start poorly and pick up and do well as the season goes on. Other teams will start well and drop off. My concern is, I think the reason for that is teams get wise to other teams' tactics. Now, what we've been doing is playing, and what the terminology Parky used last week, and I absolutely loved it. He said, we've learned how to dominate without the ball.
Yes.
Which I think is just a genius way of putting it, really. And that's exactly what we do. Yeah. My issue is, can you do that all season? I'm not too sure. Teams, I thought Crawley, by the way, tactically, they had our card on Saturday, and I thought they did an unbelievable job, and they were really unlucky not to get at least a point. If they'd have beaten us on Saturday, I don't think you could have had too many complaints. So my concern is going down to Leyton Orient this weekend. I mean, I think the way Parky plays, it's always maybe a little bit easier for us away from home. I think Peterborough was a great example of that. But can we carry on playing in this way and continue to pick up points and wins and stuff like that? That's the big one. In a month's time, I think we'll know the answer either way. But listen, Parky just continues to prove people wrong, myself included. And I just hope that happens forever. But my dream, I've always said, I'd love to keep the same manager and go right through the leagues with the same guy. How special would that be? Especially Parky. I mean, we love him, don't we?
Yeah, and I think he gets so much stick that it's almost unfair, and people keep coming back, look at the record, to argue with it. You know what I mean? Even, I don't know if you watched the Arsenal City game, they packed in 4, 5, and 4 at the back. It's out there. They just needed the points. Didn't care how it looked, but we needed the points. We're in League One. We're not playing sexy football yet. Sometimes it looks great, but I you know what I mean? There's something to that. And, he goes on and he does surprise me as well. Kelly Davidson says, I agree that a draw away is good enough. But that will be the end of Wrexham at the top of the table. Birmingham will have it, and I don't see them letting it go.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Birmingham, listen, I like to be confident, and I like to be optimistic, but I am a bit of a realist as well. And I hate bringing the tone down, but Birmingham will take over at the top, and when they do, I don't see them let it go. They might let it go for a couple of weeks, but we've got to remember as well, it's still, there's the temperature is still a very balmy 60 degrees Fahrenheit. You can't use it. The snow isn't on the ground yet. Listen, there's a long way to go. Who's top of the league now? It literally doesn't matter. It's lovely. It's so nice to see us on that top, and I'd love to see us there for the rest of the season. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. But listen, if we stay in that top 2, if we stay in that top 6, that'd be amazing. That would be genuinely amazing. So yeah, I'd like to say as well, I had a couple of really good chats with Humphrey Card over the weekend without wanting to name drop. What a fantastic bloke.
You're a great guy.
But also, I think that man is a genius as well, because what he did at the start of the season, he went to like Wrexham Reds and different meetings, and he was going around telling everyone, we need to calm down. It's going to be mid-table this year. He brought the expectations down, and now we're all pleasantly surprised. So that man did a great job of managing expectations as well. Yeah,
because he's got McElhenney on the other side going, no, we're going up. We're gonna win the league. We're gonna win by 30, going up. 55,000 seat stadium's gonna be amazing. Humphrey's a great guy. I met him over the summer again. I'm trying to get him on the show, so he is a fantastic. Give him a little nudge. Tell him to come on the pundit, man.
I will. Yeah. Do you know what? I guarantee. I can't speak on his behalf, but I'd be very surprised. He absolutely loves it. And, we always say with the, the Men in Blazers stuff, we're like, oh, we need a quote. We need to speak to someone about this or whatever. And our go-to is, let's get Humphrey, because he's just got this fantastic knack, this fantastic ability of summarizing things perfectly and saying, and do you know what as well? I think another thing, and by the way, it sounds very much like I'm sexually attracted to Humphrey Card at the moment, because I have actually.
He is tall. He's quite tall.
Maybe I am. I think subconsciously I am. Let's be honest about it. But I think the reason I think he's such a great guy is he loves it, and he's as big a fan as I am. I've been supporting this club since I was a child. Humphrey's been here a few years, but he loves it. He walks through town. He's chatting to people about Wrexham Football Club. He just absolutely loves it. And, we are lucky to have the guy. Fair play.
Oh yeah, he's one of my guys. I'm like, oh yeah, he's figured out such a good dude, and I met him a few times. We have mutual friends, so I'll get him on again hopefully, and I want to get there. And Raj, by the way, Raj is doing a great job on Men in Blazers. What Men in Blazers, what they're doing as a platform and everything is absolutely awesome. So and long may it continue. There you go. So Robert Galvin says, hi Tom, how are you? Good to see you.
How you doing, Rob?
Yeah, there he is. With this one here, I thought we were good. Leighton and Peterborough are home today, so they're actually playing. Is there a cup game today? There's cup games going on. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the trophy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the Bristol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which yeah. Do you know what? I still know it as the sponsors from 20 years ago, the LDV vans when we went out of Cardiff. So yeah.
Wasn't like the tractor company? There was another I don't know. Yeah, there's the bottom end tractor company. I'm glad we're out of that one, which is fine. I know we want we want to get there, but let him have it. Stay in top 10. I'm good. Says I am Bo, and Birmingham bought their first place this year, and no one will be able to take it from them. I don't mind chasing them. That's fine. I think we're going to come in second. Let them have it. Takes it off of us. And let them have it. I want to chase them, which is fine with me. I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I completely made my peace with that. Be happy with that. Sherpa Vans Trophy. Well, that's an old school one, Secchi. That's a very old school. I think that was in the 80s it was called that.
Yep, the Sherpa Van Trophy. That's awesome. There was a couple things that came out today. The article today about Max Cleworth. And then Parkinson talking about managing, not really moving forward. But, like I said, we got Saturday, Tuesday coming up. I know I'm going to be conscious of your time here and everyone coming in. We know we're a little bit late. But, tell us what's happening with you next couple of weeks. Obviously, you mentioned about the top of you're not doing shows every week for Men in Blazers, but this week in Wrexham. But give us a shout what's going on, and we'll get it along here.
Yeah, I mean, we are sort of I suppose you'd call it intermittently releasing episodes. So we're scheduled for 16 episodes across the season. What we've tried to do is try to space it out a little bit if we can. That hasn't happened just yet. But what we've tried to do is bring people the episodes for the big events. For example, we had the two big games early doors, the first game of the season, and then Bolton away, which is a huge game, as we all know. And then we had Birmingham last week. We had to do Birmingham, obviously, huge game. And this week, you're a very, very moving one this week, actually. It's a bit of a change of pace, a change of gear, but it's something we're very proud, I think. I think it's going to be an amazing episode. I haven't seen it yet. It's not quite finished, but when it comes out on Thursday, Gresford, the 90th anniversary of Gresford, it's great to speak to some fantastic people. Wrexham Miners Rescue Centre, the job they do there. Anyone who comes over perhaps from the US, you have to go and see those guys. Go and have a breakfast, put some money in their coffers, because the job they do is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, just in memory of the 266 people who died at Gresford 90 years ago. It was a very emotional service there on Saturday, and it's great that the community of Wrexham and the community, the global community now, we've got to remember that, Wrexham is a global club, and guys like Jay from New York City, Jay, I call him. He's done a lot of hard work and fundraising, and and there's others as well. I could mention Scoot from the Declan Swans. So yeah, that's that episode this week. It's going to encapsulate all of that, and I think it's going to be an emotional one. But there's a bit of fun in there as well. I think you're gonna have. There's a couple of giggles in there, so we've kept it light as well. So it's a lovely little mix, and yeah, I hope people tune in and watch it, because I still have to pinch myself at how kind people have been coming on here now. Josh, yourself, others who've been so kind about it, and it fills me with joy to know that people are genuinely enjoying it. So yeah, long may it continue.
Long may continue. You guys have a great balance of, about sorting things out, like enjoying the game, getting the town vibes. I mean, I tell you, people live through what you're doing. I know it sounds like I'm kissing your ass, but it's true. You can see it. It comes through. You guys produce a great show, but you're magnetic, and people love to see it. And people want more of it. And for me, I love watching it, so it's fantastic. And I wanted to ask you about that, and I know we're kind of winding down a bit here. I wanted to ask you about it. I'd been told before the match, the moment of silence, like we couldn't hear a pin drop, that it was like I hate to say it, like affecting. Matt Al had said something to me. He's like, it was eerie, but in a good way. And then the clouds opened up and the thunderstorms afterwards. I was like, there's something here. Like, we were never going to lose that game, but like, I think other things were going on. But I don't know if you got that when you were in the park.
No, absolutely. Everything you said was absolutely spot on. Couldn't have summarised it better myself, really. I was lucky enough to be sat next to Ian Wright, not the ex-Arsenal striker, but massive Wrexham fan, Ian Wright, in the tech end. And Ian had lost his grandfather at Gresford, and I was stood next to Ian, and I think he's on the show talking about his sort of feelings towards Gresford and things like that, and it was very emotional. I didn't lose anyone at Gresford, none of my family, but I spoke to so many people who did, and they were all quite consistent in what they were saying. It's a very, very special moment for them when the minute's silence, and absolutely it's tangible. You can feel it. You can feel the atmosphere, even in the moments of silence there. It's special. It's really, really special and emotional. Honestly, I was sat there with a tear in my eye, and it's. I think one of the things that's so special for me is, there's people from Wrexham born and bred, but there's guys like yourself, Wrexham fans from the US and from all over the world. I spoke to a guy from Canada, from Australia. They just get it.
Yeah,
they just get it, and they understand completely, because there might be similar things that have happened in your community, where a community will rally round and come together, and it's something special, and it reinforces your faith in human beings, to be honest. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded there, but it's genuinely very special to be part of that. I've been at the racecourse a number of times. I think it was the 80th anniversary. I think we played Luton on a Tuesday night, and that was unbelievable. And we won 3-0, and somehow we always seem to pull a result out the hat as well. And Parky himself had said he came down to the Miners' Rescue Centre after the game, and he lit a candle. And he was saying himself, even as an outsider, as he calls himself, he says, I have grown to absolutely love this community, and it's because of things like Gresford and how the community rallies together, the football club, and it just feels like everyone's come together at one. I'm rambling on a little bit, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. And like I say, with this week's episode, I hope we do it justice.
And I'm sure the way you guys produce shows is awesome. The way you're hosting and everything, just being, just a fan, and also, someone who cares, and a support of the club. You guys have the magic. There is magic there. You can tell there's a little bit of that sprinkled dust of magic, which is great, which makes it awesome. And thank you very much for that. Kelly says, I think there are 3 League One games today: Huddersfield, Blackpool, Leyton Orient, Peterborough, Wigan Athletic, and Stevenage. Okay. So, all right. So there are games today. So I got to keep an eye on that.
I haven't been to the betting shop to put my bets on yet, so I haven't looked at the fixtures.
You got an hour. Got an hour. HUCEV says, hi, I'm late today. What did I miss? A lot of stuff. Go back and watch it in the review. But it's been great. Tommy's been fantastic, and I love having you on, man. And I'm so happy for what you guys are doing, and happy to have you come on. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Listen, Josh, it's always a pleasure, mate, and thank you for asking me on again. Always enjoy it. It's fantastic talking football, and thank you everyone for the kind comments. I don't feel worthy of them at all, but I do appreciate them massively, as I'm sure you do, Josh, as well. You do a fantastic job, pal. So keep it going.
Thank you very much, man. I got to send you out a hat, by the way. I got to talk to you.
Do you know what? I thought you were never going to say that, mate. I was looking forward to you saying that. Definitely want one of those hats, mate.
Okay, you message me. I'm getting you a hat out there too. Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, Tommy. And on that bombshell.